here in this room as whatever your name is, and I'm sitting here, I know for sure that I'm sitting in this room and listening to this guy on the chair talking. No, because that could be a dream. You can't be sure. But what is it that you can be sure of? You can be sure that there is a consciousness, if it is a dream, that there is a consciousness in which the dream appears. Now the question is, can you sense right now in yourself that which remains as an indisputable fact when everything else is let go of? Then what is left of you without any narrative or thought? What is left is the realization of presence. There is a presence, but it has no form. You realize that I am, but you add nothing to it. The pure beingness of you. So all that's left of you is that consciousness or awareness. So the person is temporarily withdrawn, gone. And something else has emerged where before there was a person. Now something else has emerged instead, and that is what I sometimes call the deep I. I meaning the pronoun I. There is the surface I is the person. I am this and I am that. On the surface, you are this or that. You can add many things to I am. And everybody in this room adds different kinds of things. Well, everybody has a gender. Well, nowadays you have a huge choice of genders, so that's wonderful. So you can add all kinds of things to I am, but that's not what we are talking about here. This is the surface I. And then there is the deep I. And the realization of the deep I is the liberation from the person, the self, as the Buddha called it. It is the liberation from the self. And why is it a liberation? Because ultimately it is a recognition of the ultimate unreality of the self or the person. And the recognition of the ultimate unreality of the person, that is the liberation from the person. Consciousness has been rescued from where it had been trapped for countless millennia in thought forms. Consciousness is now liberated, so to speak, from its prison in form, reincarnations. So the end of reincarnation, which the Buddhists look for in some future moment, has to happen here and now. That is the true end of reincarnation. The samsara, the wheel of becoming, and always the same thing again, the wheel of karma, can't get out of it, incessant stream of conditioned thinking, conditioned behavior, conditioned reactions, being this limited entity. And so that is the awakening and the realization of the deep I that frees you from self. The Buddha talked about the delusion of regarding yourself as this entity. And Jesus did too, but it's not easily recognized in Jesus because it's been misunderstood so much. Jesus said, for example, deny thyself. It's exactly the same what the Buddha said, except slightly different words. What does it mean, deny thyself? Does it mean you beat yourself up? Sometimes been misinterpreted like that. No, why would you deny yourself if yourself is real? It would be pointless to deny yourself. It only makes sense to deny yourself if the self is not ultimately real. Then it makes sense to deny yourself, and then you can understand what his statement, deny yourself, means, because it means recognize the unreality, the ultimate unreality of the self, the personal sense of self. Recognize the ultimate unreality. And then that is liberation, because then who or what you are is no longer the conditioned entity, because the conditioned entity continues for a while. It has a momentum. It continues for a while. But you are not trapped in it anymore. You can observe it. You can... The deep I, the light of consciousness that is the deep I, actually can flow into the limited sense of the person, and even there it can transform to some extent the way in which the person operates, because it's no longer, the person is no longer an ego entity. Yes, there is a form identity that remains for a while. And then there is an essence identity, which is the deep I. So there's two of you, so to speak. Let's put it like that for a moment. There's two of you. There's you, the person, the form identity. Ultimately, not ultimately real. It has a temporary reality, a little bit like a dream. So you are there as this form reality. And then there's the essence identity. Form identity, essence identity. So there's two of you, so to speak. Ultimately it's one. But let's for a moment just to look at it like this. And then you can, the ultimate purpose is for the two to merge, so that eventually the deep I shines away the form identity, or at least shines through more and more clearly through the person, the form identity. So as a person, there may be certain characteristics that remain even after awakening to your essence identity. Your form identity may have certain idiosyncrasies and characteristics that remain, ways of doing things or ways of speaking, or even maybe some likes and dislikes, but they're not important anymore. But what does tend to happen is that the craziness that is the madness that is part of almost every egoic identity, to a greater or lesser degree. Not every ego is equally mad, but every ego partakes in the madness of the ego. In some egos it's very extreme, and in other egos it's less extreme. But the way in which the person operates tends to change from creating unnecessary conflict and disharmony in this world and always experiencing one problem after another that's self-generated by the unobserved minds. All these things tend to fall away. A few characteristics remain. Before awakening, you like apple pie, and after awakening, you still like apple pie. That's just one example.